TV.
Welcome to Uxbridge Scugog Life. I'm your host, Jackie Hermans. Now, I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of this. I'm super excited, so it's exciting for me to share. I'm starting to offer yoga classes right in town at Uxbridge Dance Studio. So yes, in-person yoga classes where we will be social distancing. And so if you want, you can check out my website, thejoyfulyogini.ca. And Dancebridge is located on Douglas Road, which is where Radiant Joy used to be. This is Chewy. So up on today's show, we'll be talking about some of the different activities that will be available for you and your family as a way to reflect about truth and reconciliation. And not only reflect, maybe educate yourself and your family about what truth and reconciliation is all about. And we'll also be talking with Trish Bootsma about a beautiful book called She Grieves that is now available for your reading pleasure. And healing, I should say. So it will be a wonderful show. And if you're interested in being on the show yourself, make sure you watch to the end and I'll let you know how you can also be a part of the show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen, and I've had the opportunity to spend my life traveling and photographing exotic locales around the world. Thanks to Rogers TV, I'm now able to share my adventures with you on my show, Photos and Travel, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So with me now is Jessica Lanziner from the Uxbridge Historical Center, and we also have Barbara Blower from the MAAMAWI Collective. And today we're talking about what are the activities that will be taking place to acknowledge truth and reconciliation. And I'd like to start this off by directing it to you, Jessica, to start us with the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Jackie. Yes, so as we start today, though we are online, we want to acknowledge that the Uxbridge Historical Center and Uxbridge is situated on land which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among the Mississauga peoples. We acknowledge that it is covered by the Williams Treaty and is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation. This land is now the home of many Indigenous communities. We honor, recognize, and respect this nation and Indigenous peoples as the traditional stewards of the lands and waters on which we meet today.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jessica. So I would love to start with you. And what do you have taking place at the museum for us to acknowledge truth and reconciliation on September the 30th?
Yes, so on September 30th and starting a few days before, extending for about a week, there will be a display of ribbons and information about truth and reconciliation for folks to take in and take time to acknowledge. So this will be across the property, outdoors. People can come on their own time and take a solemn moment to read some of the information we have up. All of the 94 calls to action will be displayed, as well as several other areas of QR codes and information for folks to check in online to get other resources. There's sections for kids and adults, so there's lots to learn from there. And it's a great space to take the time to think about these things and think about what we're going to continue to do.
Thank you. So Barbara, why is September 30th and really the whole week important for us to self-reflect?
Settlers in this country have long known that there was something that was kind of, not exactly right about the relationship with First Nations and Métis and Inuit people and the governments of the country. This last few months, things have become obvious to many, many, many more people that history as to reconciliation is related, for the most part, in residential schools. And so the knowledge now is far more widespread, and that's a good thing.
Beautiful. Barbara, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I understand you are also, you have an initiative going on downtown Uxbridge during that week as well?
Yes, on the 26th of September, which is a Sunday morning, MAAMAWI Collective will be at the Uxbridge Farmers Market location, and we will have a lot of orange ribbons that we would be happy to spread to families who wish to help us to acknowledge on the streets of Uxbridge that we understand and we recognize what needs to be known. So ribbons will be available for families to hang on the streets in downtown Uxbridge, and all the way to the arena. We hope there will be enough ribbons, because at the arena there will be the beginning of a walk that is planned by churches in the community for September 30th. And information for all of this is usually available on Facebook.
Okay, beautiful. Now, what will be happening for Red Dress Day?
October the 4th is the National Recognition Day for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls and Two-Spirited People. 25 years ago, there was a recognition that, oh, wait a minute, it's far more traumatic to be an Indigenous woman because so much history happens related to trauma. So red dresses hang in trees to symbolize the empty lives that have been lost. And on October the 3rd in Uxbridge, we will honor those memories and hang dresses in Elgin Park. We expect to start at 2 o'clock. And we have a grandmother from Georgina Island First Nation who has offered to come and spread her information and tell us her story. Again, information is available on Facebook.
Now, Barbara, are you looking for any additional volunteers for any of these events, and also for you, Jessica? And are you looking for any red dresses to assist with hanging them in Elgin Park?
Absolutely, yes. We are looking for donations so that this can become a traveling acknowledgement of missing and murdered Indigenous women throughout Durham region. And the timing for doing an acknowledgement for us is related directly to the national date, but as long as it's a good idea, any time is time to acknowledge what Canada's history has been related to our original people.
Yeah, and might I just say off of that, these are 2 days that we are acknowledging, but this is something that is ongoing. It's not something that is just part of our past, it is part of our present and future. So we really want to make sure that these are things that we are thinking about these days, but also every day going forward.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And that Facebook page is?
MAAMAWI Collective.
MAAMAWI Collective. Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, ladies. I encourage Uxbridge residents and their families to participate in these truth and reconciliation activities, to be able to have that opportunity to self-reflect and to continue creating beautiful change. So thank you so much. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Leonard Thompson, 13 years old, diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds.
Starve the child to let them live? The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Dr. Banting, this could be it.
He's the first to receive this trial.
But will it save him?
It's not pure enough.
So we try again. And again. And again.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence. Banting, Best, Collop, and MacLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives. Leonard Thompson's was the first.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. With me on the show now is Trish Bootsma, who is one of the authors of a compilation of stories in a beautiful book about grief. And it is called She Grieves. Now, Trish, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, what was the whole idea of compiling this book together? So first of all, I understand it's a number of women who have contributed their own stories of grief within the book She Grieves. So what was the whole idea around it? Why did you want to put this book together?
So the reason we wanted to put this book together was to help other people who through their grieving process by sharing our stories, our raw emotions. It's a difficult subject. And a lot of people can't always talk about their grief to other people. And so the idea of reading these stories, our hope is that it would help other people through their grief process.
Okay, so the stories share their individual process, what they did, and so by you reading it yourself and hearing this woman's story and this woman's story, you might be able to find which process is going to work best for you, and to be able to embrace wherever you're at in your process.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, all of our stories are very different. Some of them are, very tragic. Some of them are very beautiful losses, but they're all losses, and we all feel them very differently. And we all process very differently, but there is no right or wrong way to process the grief. And that's what we wanted to share with people, is that there is no right or wrong way to grieve. It's a process that everybody has to go through when they do have a loss.
So who did you lose that you focused your story around?
So my story focused on my two brothers that I lost. Both of them were lost very tragically. My brother Jeff died due to a drug overdose, and my brother John was hit by a car while he was riding his bike.
Wow, I'm so sorry, Trish.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's stories such as that, as well as losing a child, losing
a parent, losing a grandparent, some through tragic accidents, some through murder, some through just the natural course of life.
Now, when you read the compilation of stories yourself, did you go through a whole new level of healing after reading that book? Yeah,
there was definitely different levels that I went through. Some of the stories were very difficult to read, so there was a lot of emotion, a lot of tears, and especially because for myself, having worked with these women, there is that personal connection. So reading their stories, there is that, that personal connection that just made it a little more difficult to get through, but the feelings were very, very strong. And it did help to understand where they were coming from.
Mm-hmm. You know what, as you're saying that, I have emotion coming up in me right now. A friend of mine just lost her husband to brain cancer, and then another friend lost her brother. And it's, if you're not going through it directly, it's you still go through your own grieving process, being in association.
There is definitely those processes as well. One of the stories in the book, she was writing from the perspective of a supporter. So her sister lost her husband. And so she was writing from her perspective of supporting her sister through her grief. So again, if there's other people that you're supporting, this will help you support that person.
Well, I think it's a wonderful, I was going to say it's a wonderful, I haven't read it myself, but it's a wonderful concept for you to, and that's not even the proper word for it, so my apologies, but for you to be involved with this beautiful compilation to help people with their own healing journey is, I'll call it an initiative. It's a beautiful initiative to do that. So where is your book available now?
So at the moment, people can order the book directly through me at my email at tbootsma430@gmail.com.
Can you repeat that one more time?
tbootsma430@gmail.com. They can order directly through me, and then it will eventually be on Amazon.
Nice. How about getting it in the Blue Heron bookstore? Any I
can.
That?
I will absolutely contact them about getting it in the Heron bookstore for sure.
It would be wonderful. It would be wonderful to have it there. So you must have gone through a whole healing process in just the writing of it.
Yes, definitely. There was a lot of emotion writing the book, a lot of tears. There were times that I just had to stop and take a deep breath. But there was also a lot of good memories as well that came up as I was writing the book, and a lot of healing as well.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Trish. It was wonderful to have you on the show. So you can contact Trish if you'd like to order her book, or maybe even purchase it for a gift to help someone else who is going through a grieving process. Thank you. We'll be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Thank you.
Hey, do you like movies? You know I do. That's why I see all of them. And if you want to know which ones you should see too, check out the latest Cinema Scene reviews and interviews. They're hot, fresh, and delicious, and they're online at rogerstv.com/cinemascene, popcorn not included. This offer is available everywhere. Tell your friends, be the first on your block to click rogerstv.com/cinemascene. It's so nice, we have to mention it twice.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. With me on the show now is Corrinne Morrison from the Uxbridge Library. And Corrinne, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show. I wanted to talk to you about what activities the library has available for families to educate and be able to reflect about truth and reconciliation. So first, Corrinne, I understand you have put some books aside. Do you want to talk about some of those books?
We have. We put books aside both in the adult department and the children's department. In the adult department, we have fiction and nonfiction, just some great great books, and we've also created bookmarks. So if you happen to stop into the library and want a book, but there's none on the shelves, there's a bookmark that you can reserve with. And down in the children's department, we also have a poster outlining some of the books.
Beautiful. Any favorite children's books, ones that you have fallen in love with?
I think one that's kind of a must read is Phyllis's Orange Shirt, because I think that really tells us what September 30th started out because of. So that would be one of my favorites to start with.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. And I understand that you also have some different activities that families can bring home and work on. Do you want to talk about those?
We do. So we have, and I love having something with me. We have this little booklet that can go home with families, and there's a recipe, well, a couple of recipes in there that families can try out. There is a scavenger hunt. There's a summary of Phyllis's Orange Shirt Day. And there's also an orange shirt that children can kind of write what they're thinking about September 30th in residential schools on that, as well as a game and a word search. So it's a great little package.
Amazing. That's wonderful. Nice activities that you can do on whether it's inside or outside. And I love with the scavenger hunt, what type of items would they be looking for?
We kept it, we called it 5 Senses Nature Scavenger Hunt. So find something tiny, find something heart-shaped, find something bumpy, find a flower with a scent. So that's an outside kind of activity.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I understand you have an origami activity. I actually brought that home to start playing with. Do you want to talk to everybody about that activity?
Sure, it is an origami raven. This idea was inspired by students out in BC who were trying to do 1,000 origami ravens as part of a wish for reconciliation. It was meant, it's not an easy origami. How are you doing with yours, Jackie?
Well, I should have started it last night because I started it just before these interviews. And I ended up getting stuck on step 6. I didn't quite finish step 6. And then I thought, there's no way I'm going to finish this before we start filming. And I do have a question for you. At this stage, should the black be facing on the outside or the white be facing on the outside?
I believe the black should be on the outside.
Okay, so I need to start fresh anyways.
So there is a YouTube video, and we put that, there's a little takeaway sheet with the instructions, and at the bottom is a YouTube video. But part of the inspiration was it shouldn't be easy. It is, reconciliation is difficult, and the origami ravens are difficult. And the thought is, don't give up. Keep trying, even though it is hard.
Yeah, Corrinne, I love that. You know, I was using the YouTube video, and I would do one, you know, pause the video, do that step, pause it, do the next step, pause. It's just for me, and for everyone else, it might be a different step, right? But for me, step 6, I'm like, my brain is not getting it, so I'm going to step away from it, have a little bit of reflection, and then come back and I'll try it again.
But it is a really good parallel to truth and reconciliation, right? Yes. We have to keep going forward, even if we have to take a break once in a while, but we have to keep moving towards those steps.
Beautiful. Now, Corrinne, from when until when are these activities available for families?
So today is 2 weeks from September 30th. So we've got the origami paper and instructions. We've got the packages for kids in the children's department. And in our children's garden, we've put up some lovely signs that reflect upon Phyllis's story, as well as some Indigenous beliefs.
Okay, beautiful. And by the time that this airs, it will actually be a week ahead.
Perfect. Okay. So then that's a week that people can stop by and come see us.
Okay, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that the library, the museum, and even the MAAMAWI Collective, and I'm sure, and there's other organizations out there within the community that are participating in this to help with spreading the education. So thank you so much, Corrinne. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. We will be right back with more on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm Corrinne Grant, a former professional football player. Do you want to know what current and former professional athletes are up to these days? Catch the Players Corner with Corrinne Grant exclusively on Rogers TV.
I'm Eric Marchino's Cinema Scene in Review. Join me for a monthly movie roundup of new releases either in theaters or available to stream. See you next time in Review.
Welcome back to Uxbridge Scugog Life. So that is another wrap of a great show. I hope you and your family can take part in some of the truth and reconciliation activities that are going on around town, just so we can educate ourselves more and reflect. Reflect about what this means for us and our community and the future. So if you want to be on the show, you can send me an email, and that email is uxbridgescugog@rci.rogers.com. And I also want to let you know that Preston Art Gallery in town is selling some beautiful handmade bean paint that the recipe has gone through generations and generations of Aboriginal families. So, and a portion of the proceeds is going to go towards a truth and reconciliation fund. And you can talk to Sabrina at Preston Gallery to find out more about that. So definitely check that out. And I hope you've been enjoying this weather. We've been having a nice fluctuation between warm and cool, and sometimes it can be challenging to get used to seeing those leaves changing, but you know what? We've got this. We just got to focus on the beauty of change. And hey, that's what truth and reconciliation is also helping us to do. We'll be back with more next week on Uxbridge Scugog Life.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
You must be the reporter. Come with me.
So, Miss McGill, how does it feel being Canada's famous women engineer?
The real story is the work we've done retooling this factory.
To build the Hawker Hurricane?
Indeed. 40 planes last month with a capacity of up to 100. Our fighters are over England as we speak. Of course, it pains me to see airplanes mass-produced like boxcars or baby carriages. But in war, we make concessions in favor of innovation.
You must feel at home, though, managing all of these women.
I'm not here to manage women.
Well, you must admit it